Guys, do not use Afterpay. It is a trap.
Hi, my name is Paige, and I am an Afterpay addict.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into that list. I saw a couple of the ones on the side. I saw some for like $7. If you are afterpaying something and one of your payments is $7, you have a problem.
Let me tell you something, baby. One thing about me, I'ma afterpay that shit. I don't care if I have $40 million in my account. I don't care if the cart came up to $6.74. Afterpay that shit.
Am I the only one getting fed up with these buy now, pay later services being shoved in my face?
You know you want to. It's a future you problem. So easy.
If you don't know what buy now, pay later is, it's basically when you buy something, it's a service that will break it up into 4 interest-free payments. Simple, right? But it's just bait. That's all it is.
And a woman comes and says, ooh, nice Porsche. Gotcha, bitch.
It's a slippery slope that you should avoid, and it's really for people who have little to no self-control. Let's check this out.
Let me tell you something, baby. One thing about me, I'ma afterpay that shit. I don't care if I have $40 million in my account. I don't care if the cart came up to $6.74. Afterpay that shit. Would you like to split this up into 4 payments? Yes! I would!
Listen, I appreciate the energy, but this is exactly what's wrong with these services. With this mindset, you'll never hit $1 million, let alone 40 million. I mean, the comments were just crazy in this one too. They were just gassing her up. Almost all of them were gassing her up. And to me, this is a problem because let's say you buy something for $100 and then you afterpay it or buy now, pay later, and it feels like you only spent $25. And then you just do it again and you buy another thing for $100, but it feels like only another $25. So then pretty soon you do it again and again, and you only feel like you spent $100, but you spent $400. This results in a sort of stacking effect where you get all these payments and installments, you kind of forget, and then it just goes one right after another. Let's watch this guy talk about this stacking effect where it just keeps beating you up left and right, all these payments, and you forget about most of them.
Guys, do not use Afterpay. It is a trap. Oh my God. When I tell you, these people, they know what they're doing to me. Imagine I'm just at Maya. I have all these clothes, right? So I'm like, yeah, let me just put these clothes on, right? In my head, I think I'm just paying $300. But I forget every single fortnight.
Fortnite? It looks like they got them in Europe too.
$300 is gonna leave my account. Here I am. I get home and I remember. And on top of that, my phone bill comes. And then my Apple Music takes money from me. And then Netflix. They're not gonna let me buy a house. My credit score is gonna be minus 30.
So a lot of those weren't just Afterpay, but he's talking about like Netflix and Apple Music and all this stuff. So it's kind of like, even though it's not Afterpay, you have all these services you pay, and then you have these buy now, pay laters that are kind of also in the background where you're like, oh shoot, I forgot about that. Boom, boom. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. And it's so easy to do. It's just one click and you're done. 4 tiny installment payments that, you may or may not forget about. Speaking of something you can do with one click and death by 1,000 cuts, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So click that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. I want so many subs, I can't even keep track. Kind of like this girl. And that's what happens. You just kind of do this here and there. You don't think it's that bad. And then you check and then it's like 5 times what you thought. And I have a feeling that's most of these people who use these services. They don't keep track. It keeps things messy. You don't want your finances to be messy. I looked through the comments on this girl's and it seems like she wasn't like really in a bad spot financially on the surface. I don't know, but it seems like it kind of got out of hand. She got a little Klarna happy, but she could afford it. And although she may have overspent a little bit, it's not as bad as when people who use it, they cannot afford it. Kind of like this girl.
Hi, my name is Paige, and I am an Afterpay addict. So let's go through some retail therapy together, right? We're gonna address all of this and if it was really worth putting on Afterpay. So as you can see at the moment, $741 owed, and I don't have a job. Probably why it's on Afterpay, but that's no excuse. It's the next 15 days problem. So starting at the top.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into that list. I saw a couple of the ones on the side. I saw some for like $7. If you are afterpaying something and one of your payments is $7, you have a problem. Delete the app, like pay everything off, like throw your phone in a river. Do not use it anymore, please. All right, let's check out this girl who used to work at a credit repair company, and she kind of went through a lot of people's debts, and let's see what she has to say.
Don't use Klarna or Afterpay or any of those services. I used to work for a credit repair company and I would analyze people's reports for them. We would look at all of their collections and what was dragging down their score, and time again, I would open up people's reports and find dozens of collections from services like this. You see, Klarna and Afterpay advocate for the financing of mostly non-essential goods. A lot of clothing stores, makeup companies, like gift companies partner with services like this. And they trick people, especially young people, into thinking that it's simply an easier way to pay. Well, I don't have to pay right now. That sounds nice. I'd rather split this up into multiple payments. Anyone would. But what a lot of people don't realize is that Klarna and Afterpay aren't going to contribute positively to your credit report, even when you make your payments on time.
Okay, so she's talking about how it doesn't contribute positively to your credit report. I don't really mess with, like, that's not a huge deal to me. What the biggest deal to me is that, like she said, a lot of people are using it for non-essential items. You don't need it, and you shouldn't even be using it for essential items. Right? You want to be in a good spot where you're not using these at all. You just pay. Whatever happened to just paying for things back in the good old days? Just pay full payment. I'm paying $20 for my eggs and grapes, which is probably what it costs nowadays, but pay fully. Whatever happened to that? So I looked up some statistics because I was curious, who's using these? Like how often are people using these? And it was kind of interesting. So I looked up and I saw that the buy now, pay later users by generation, half of millennials and half of Gen Z have used it once. I don't know if they're like repeat, probably. I've never used it, but that's a crazy stat. Half of Gen Z and millennials are using these installment payments, or at least once. That's ridiculous. And then I looked at the household income average for people who use these buy now, pay laters, and it's kind of interesting. So 75% of buy now, pay later users make less than 75 grand. And the people who make more, over 75 grand, only 17% of those users use buy now, pay later. You kind of see the difference here. It's like you have good habits and then you have bad habits, and don't take my word for it. I haven't used it before. Take the word of people who's experienced with it. I'm talking about missed payments, spent more than they should, regretted the payment. I mean, these are all people who've used it and they're like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have used it. Yeah, so don't use it. So here are my thoughts. These are like the three main things on why buy now, pay later is just bad. Number one, you just overspend. If you're using those, you're just doing it to feel good, and it feels a lot less. It's all feeling, right? It's all feeling a lot less, and then you can go spend it and do it again on something else. So the overspending is what's really bad about it to me. And number two, the harsh penalties. What people don't know is they see that 0% interest and be like, I'll just break it up, put it on auto pay, like it doesn't matter. But sometimes people forget. It really messes up your finances. You're paying for all this stuff you don't even remember, and you don't want that. And when you get one of these missed payments, what people don't realize is the fees are insane. Like credit card level and missed payment fees are nuts. So if you're like some of these people, just don't do the Afterpay. I know it might feel good at the beginning, but it's not good in the long run. Don't overspend. Don't buy stuff you don't need. And that's it. So if you like this video, subscribe, comment down below. Have you bought anything with Afterpay? What kind of stuff are you buying with Afterpay? I hope it's not those like $5 split up purchases. All right. So yeah, that's all I got. See you guys.